This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, we'll begin with flag salute. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we welcome everybody to the June 12th Marion County Commission meeting. Are there any public comments? I don't see anybody.
Well, let's see.
Oh, yeah. There we go.
Everybody
There are
else.
some people.
Yeah.
If someone would like to make public comments, please unmute. Not seeing any. We'll close public forum and move to agenda approval. Any changes to the agenda? If not, agenda is approved and we'll move into administrative. Tina.
Okay, well, the first thing that you have in your packet is, well, almost the first thing, is the memo from the county treasurer about the tax sale.
Yes, Susan, if you'd come up to the microphone in case there's any questions. We appreciate all the work you've been doing to get us to this point. We're excited to get it across the line.
Yes, I'm ready.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are. So I see in your memo you have a couple questions.
Yes. One is, do you want to have a minimum bid? You've had him in the past. You've not had him in the past. It's up to you, but however you want to handle that.
Okay. Well, what would you suggest for minimum?
Bid, need a bid.
Well, what minimum?
$100, 200, I don't care. So,
If it doesn't sell, then it goes back, the county owns it,
Yeah.
and could put it on the ad bank.
Yes.
Well,
yeah. Mhm.
the last go around, Kraft did $50. I think he started
Yeah.
50, 100, 150.
That was
And
the
it-
suggestion from the
Yeah.
tax council.
And that actually went over well because a lot of people would bid 50 and 100 and 150 and
Yeah.
they drop out. But
Mhm.
at least it started it rolling.
Yeah, true.
I'd suggest 50.
Okay. Is there consensus to go with $50 minimum bid?
I'll make that a motion if
Okay.
it needs to be.
I appreciate that.
We start the tax sale at $50 minimum.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Becker and a second from Commissioner Gehring. Other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0. We got one question answered.
Thank you. And then the location
Okay?
is the next question. I know in the past we've had it up in district court, but with this many parcels, I don't know what kind of a crowd we'll have. It might be a pretty good sized one, I don't have any idea. So the Lake Hall might be a better location than upstairs.
That's where the last one was.
Yep.
Yes, I think it worked pretty well.
Yes, it did.
Might want to check with
Yes.
Isaac to see if it's open.
I know, that'd be the next thing. I just wanted.
Make comments, so very popular, and I think, I'm guessing, and at one time we were tracking, and it was above 90%, and I'm guessing we're still about right there, about the 90% range as far as success goes, and so we've asked to raise, I think Marion County's from 1,500 to 2,500 would be the portion of Marion County's. And I think as far as the overall district costs, Morris County and Marion County have actually flip-flopped a point. Morris County is picking up, going to 5%, and Marion County is going up to 14, no, is dropping a percent, down to 13%. So it's just like McDonald's, we're saving the money. But any questions, folks? Have I done that correctly, Nikki? And of course, we'll all stand for questions.
And then, of course, Stephanie, her budget.
Stephanie has a great line. I don't know if she'll use it here, but she's as much like an attorney as we have. So her budget is based upon her collections. So as she eloquently put it, we eat what we kill is correct. So she's not asking for anything, but we're thinking about having T-shirts made up for her. But she's she's a dandy at what she does. That entire office is wonderful. And as a side note, I will tell you that we have received information, so if you can be of any help here, we'd appreciate it. The state has notified our trustee's office. They do non-4D, right? And then they do all the collection for criminal and restitution, okay? The state's notified us that they're gonna enter into this contract with these district court trustee and special vendors one more year. And then they wanna go to a statewide vendor. Well, you know what's gonna happen there. You'll become a flyover county. We'll all become a flyover county. We'll concentrate on Sedgwick, Shawnee, and Johnson County. So we have started, that got back to us, and last week there was a lot of emails going back and forth, and then finally a Zoom conference, and so they've backed off that now, and they said they're still in the decision-making process. So if you have a chance to talk to anyone, let them know that you don't want that statewide vendor, because I know if I have, these guys, they know the defendants, they know their cases, they know where they live, they know how often they've collected them, and if I have a question about a case, I can get a hold of Stephanie like that, which will not happen if you go to a Young and Williams type situation.
Good questions? Good silence.
Mr. Mueller, I
Yes.
do have one thing. Judge, I don't know if you want to talk about these servers. We have
Go right
debated
ahead.
it.
Yeah.
Basically, we've kind of come to you the last couple of years saying there's going to be a computer increase
Right.
due to the servers. Well,
Right.
this year we found a Band-Aid, so we were able to kind of finish that this year out. And then for fiscal year 2025, I'm pretty sure we're going to need to be purchasing those servers.
No more Band-Aids.
No more Band-Aids, I've run out, my box is empty, but, if we're looking at, district-wide, anywhere from $65,000 to $90,000, but of course, that wouldn't be there'd be a percentage.
And we were talking 30 to 40, but we were wrong.
Yeah, we've done
It's much
dead
more
wrong.
expensive, so what we were able to do is we were able to buy a contract from them for a lot less money to fix the servers if something should happen, so
Right.
that'll limp us through till 25.
Okay, so 25 will be on the.
Yeah, I'll for sure have to have something in here for you all
Okay.
to look at, so we'll get quotes the best we can and
Okay,
let you know what those are.
okay. Thanks for the heads up.
You bet.
I still say keep looking for
I
Band-Aids.
know it. It's not.
But there comes a point.
I know it, and it's not gonna be pretty probably.
And Brent's the one that found this one, so he said, here's what you ought to do. And we looked at it and thought, yeah, that'd be a lot better than going in and saying, hey, we need this much, thousands of dollars.
That's right. Very good. Okay.
Years past, you used to bring a breakout of what each county was kicking in to hit this budget.
That,
Oh, and,
It's under comments.
okay.
yes, you should see that in the, overall district budget, maybe is what you're thinking of all four counties, excuse me, the district expense.
I kept looking.
That will be on the light green tab,
All right.
yeah, that, first page there.
So Marion County is gonna be up by just a little less than $2,000. Am I right on that?
Correct, I mean, it's 1%.
We were talking about this centralization of the vendors. Was the legislature involved in that?
No. When they rolled out Odyssey, the new court system, the filing system that they have, one of the major start points was a centralized payment system to keep control of all the money. And from their standpoint, it would be easier to contract with one person, deal with one person, and not have to deal and contract with, and have all these other contracts. I get that. But, what's simple sometimes is not the best. So we've been pretty vocal here in the 8th to OJA about what we think of that one vendor system.
Never a good thing.
It's just always the same though, isn't it? You just dress it up in different clothing.
Other questions? While there's a little ruminating going on, we still have the request for space in mind. We're doing.
You're stealing our thunder, Lois.
No promises, but it's part of one of the moving pieces in the puzzle, so. As you know, things move slowly.
But we appreciate very much you
Absolutely.
keeping this in mind.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Your request is in the mix.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Again, no promises. but
Thank you.
I know how tight that space is up there.
Thank you.
Any other questions come up? If not, I guess, thank you very much. We appreciate the work you do.
Well, thank you, we appreciate you all too.
Thank you, we'll see you at the next CAB meeting.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thanks, folks. Up in my bag upstairs, and I can run. Are you gonna be here? I have a quarter past 1:30, and when I'm done, I'll bring my card down. Does that sound fair? All right.
Well, that went a lot quicker than expected.
All right, go back to that letter.
Well, we have another presentation coming in, and so after that presentation,
That's just it's a quickie.
we have another presentation coming in on the same topic.
Oh.
Not that it'll change anything, but just out of transparency.
Yeah.
Well, since we've got 20 minutes, Brad, would you have something to put you on the spot?
Probably so. Could we do commission comments so we could get them done?
Okay, you've got comments?
That
Take
would
it away.
be better.
Go ahead. What do you got?
Just a couple of things. I've asked Isaac to be on next Monday's agenda, or next Tuesday?
Tuesday.
Next Tuesday's agenda to talk about a possible solution at the docks by
Oh.
use of some signage,
Okay.
which I'm guessing would still need a resolution from the commission, but
Okay.
to try to get something started
Good.
before 4th of July hits.
Good.
And he's gonna bring in some examples and a few things like that.
Very good.
Okay, next thing is, and I got it last week, it was from the Riley County Commission, but it was addressed only to first district commissioners in every,
Yeah, they have to keep the listserv separate.
yeah. So it was
Yeah.
for all,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it had to do with Riley County is discussing going to a 4-day,
Yes.
10-day work
I
week.
was getting the same ones.
Yeah.
Were you getting them?
Yeah, and I don't.
Well, we're on different
Okay,
listservs,
well,
but
anyway.
the topic
so-
was there.
So I guess Jonah knows about it.
The topic
but
is there.
There was probably comments from, so far, probably 35 or 40 counties. And I was quite amazed that over half, maybe around 60%, are already on 4 10-hour days.
And ours is less,
Yeah,
our group.
and of course.
But there's quite a few. I was
Yeah, there's
surprised
quite
how
a
many.
few, and it's interesting to look at some comments
Yeah.
because it does cause a little issue with some of the other departments. Some of them say it works great, and some of them have been on it for a number of years already. And I mean, I can really see the effectiveness for a summertime 4 10-hour day, just because of the amount of time that we spend on the road.
Well,
Just getting ready
You know?
and going home.
We spend so much time on the road in this county, it's crazy.
yeah, it cuts down on
But
those road trips to 4 instead of
whether
5.
it's something we want to think about or not, I just wanted everybody to know that it's out there and everybody's wanting comments and,
Are they doing courthouses or just the road crews?
mostly it's road and bridge. Now, there was a few counties that are doing 4 10-hour days, but the issue is with taxpayers. You got a whole day there
Yeah.
that they can't do anything. I'm not in favor of that. But I think there is some justification for road and bridge spring and summer type activities being that way.
I think, Randy, you've probably been through this discussion before with Road and Bridge, haven't you?
No, really, but
I thought I
it's
had-
been mentioned numbers of times.
Because a lot of them are farmers.
Yes.
So in the summertime, they kind of like the shorter days. too.
Right.
Although if they do the 4-10, then they've got the extra day. So it all depends on
Right.
who the
Yeah,
employees
and
are.
taking that whole scenario out, it just seems like that, we're not a small county. Jiminy Christmas, sometimes to mobilize and get there and get started, it takes 2 hours.
Now
And then you gotta
Get
On
back.
Back.
On the same topic, I've heard the discussion, well, we're on the 10-hour days and they have, Road and Bridge has to be in their office at 6 o'clock. But they don't go out till it's light.
Yeah.
So light doesn't come till 7, so they sit in the office for
That's
an hour.
not perfect.
In the middle, that's in the middle of
Yeah.
winter, and we're
Well-
talking about summer.
Yeah.
So that's different than what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I'm just talking about, you know, the spring, summertime.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many factors.
I mean, it won't work in the winter, cause you get a Thursday night snowstorm, and nobody's here to push snow on it.
Yeah, also-
Or you're gonna be paying overtime
Yeah.
or comp time.
Yeah.
But it makes the most cost-saving sense when you're just maintaining. Because then you're going out, maintaining, you get 2 extra hours, and then getting back every day.
Then here's the other comment on that from another county was our road graders didn't like it because there's too many hours in the seat.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you gotta weigh a lot more objective than just saying, seems to be the most cost-effective thing
Right.
to do
But,
in the time that you have to do it. So,
but it's an interesting
but
discussion.
it's food for thought, I guess.
It makes sense in the construction world when you're on schedule.
I read that school's doing similar in Kansas next year.
When I was going to high school, we did it before.
With different people with the.
No, it was on the western side of the state.
Oh, that's in Kansas.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good food for thought. I appreciate getting Isaac on the schedule for next
Yeah,
week.
you know, and maybe whoever our next road superintendent might be, it might be food for thought for that person.
Our next director,
Director.
or superintendent's still here.
Well, whatever the name that we're gonna give the individual we hire.
Yeah. Okay, anything else?
What's that?
Anything else?
No, I just wanted to bring it up
Good.
because I thought maybe I was the only one that's getting it.
Yeah, well, I think we're all on different groups, but it depends on.
I'm on the same group as him, I think.
Oh, we are?
I think I've seen you pop across my feed, but I've never seen you pop across mine.
Because there's not supposed to be more than 2.
Right, but since some counties have 5,
Right.
I made the suggestion actually to the League of, or Kansas Association of Counties, and I said, man, my threads are like nothing. There's like nothing there. And I'm paired up with 5 other people in the state. So could you move me to like 4, or I mean 3, or 2, or 1? And so then they did. They moved 4 and 5 into 1 and 2, I think. And then that way because you could have communication between 2 of you in the 5-county, or the 5-member counties, but you couldn't on the 3-member counties, so.
But there's interesting discussion.
Because as soon as that happened,
Oh,
man, I started just getting loaded up with all kinds of stuff, conversations.
We did talk about that at our clerks conference in May, about different counties, and a lot of the people in our discussion, their counties have gone to 4 days of even at the courthouse, and extended hours, and they say that people like it. The ones that have done it, they say that people like it because they may not be able to get away during their regular workday, and so if they come in that after 5 time, that works the best for
There are
them.
certain advantages,
Oh, sure.
disadvantages
5 to 6 is
there.
real good.
Well, it also helps, especially with times like right now, you said everything's tough, right? Well, a lot of our employees drive halfway across the county to get to work.
Right?
Saves them a
Saves
day.
them a day's driving. That's, like I said, it's food for thought. I mean, it's probably maybe something we should bring up periodically and see if we've heard anything, or talk to some people and see what they think.
I see on the agenda, there's nothing about fence today.
Oh, yeah, that did get moved to
Oh.
this week.
You've got something?
It's gonna be
I was
on-
waiting to hear.
Okay.
Actually, if you want to do that right now.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Is that right?
I went out and viewed the ground that we was talking about, and I've got a video here of, there's been a lot of, on the north side there where we saw all the shrubs and the fence and the ditch right there and everything. All that has been cleaned out, and ditch has been made. I don't know whether the county did it or whether
We did the ditch.
the county did. And It looks very nice. They've pushed it up and burnt some already. Like I said, I didn't know whether the fence builder had done some of this or what. So then I went to the fence builder, Mr. Ince, and left him a message on his, well, I did not get to leave the message. I called his phone number and his voicemail is full and cannot take a message. So that stopped right there as of right now. But I see work, if the county's done it, they did a nice job. My question, I guess, to the commission, and well, the landowner really ought to be the one that feels this way, that if I get a survey and that survey says it's here, then I put my fence 6 inches behind it, then I'm perfectly clear, and the county can't never come back and tell me to move my fence. That's why the landowner ought to be very happy with getting a survey. But we have not contacted the landowner. I have not, and I decided that maybe you should if we did.
I did the original letter
Okay.
after our first meeting, just indicating what the parameters were and what the expectations were based upon the resolution. And that's as far as that has gone.
Okay.
Knowing that we had this review process, I can certainly do it again. You can ask him to appear if you'd like. I'd just like to make sure it stays in front of him.
Yeah, right. I think that's probably the proper way if
Yeah, because that survey may be a couple of months down the road yet,
Yeah.
the way the surveyors have been.
yeah. So, and that's what brought up the deal, me bringing talking about surveyors there at the last meeting, that piece of paper when I went over to check on surveys, is there had been nothing filed. And, so, that's the update as it is now. I think he'd be safe if he went, I guess I wouldn't really mind if he went, be on his dime, if he went and put it behind 5 feet or so behind whatever the ditch is, or 10. If he thinks that's past the 50 or 60 foot easement out there, why? But he could, if he spends that money and then the county comes along and asks for a survey and it's on us, why, we could make him move it, so.
We'll confirm when Bryce comes in, but I'm sure he said that they were out cleaning the ditch.
Okay.
But then it's a matter of, getting the survey and the location of the fence.
Yeah, yeah.
So I guess for direction for Brad, do you want him to do a follow-up letter, or do you want to invite the landowner in?
Or both, and ask about the status of a survey. See if
Yeah.
he's arranged for one.
And he
I
could.
think from that point, it's pretty important, we know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
Either
just on his
reply to
mind.
you or
It hasn't been
come to the
requested.
commission, one of the two.
I would probably ask him to either contact me, or since Tina coordinates at the city here, or the county here, I want to dump that on her, but if he wanted to call in and be placed on the agenda, or notify that I am coming in on this date, so we can at least mention it,
Yeah,
I'll make that part of the instruction.
right,
Okay?
Okay, that agreeable?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah.
I know you just told me.
That's all right.
While we're on fences, there's a 190th, right up at the McPherson County line. The graders got in, I don't know, you see, the fence has been there for 120 years. It's been redone, and they've taken all the dirt away from the side. He's gonna have to pay to have it reset, and didn't know if that falls on us, because the graders hit the concrete almost and broke them. And it's super wide. I mean, it is wider than any dirt road that we have in the county.
And we did that.
Yeah. So I told him I would bring it up, see what we could do for him, whether we could turn it into insurance or whatever. Told him to go get an estimate so we know what we're dealing with. He got an estimate from a fence builder, and he said it should have been cheaper if he could have just reset everything, but because so much dirt has been removed,
Yeah.
he's gonna have to set it back at the 3 feet.
Well, then it's not in the right spot.
So he's gonna set it back 3 feet further.
Wouldn't it be better to leave the fence where it is and move the dirt? Yeah, that's,
Put the
the
dirt
solution
back.
should be moving the dirt.
Move the dirt back.
Because the fence needs to
See,
be.
it's
where
right
the
on
spot.
190.
Well, the fence,
Is this in Commissioner Becker's district?
it's in mine on that side of the road. Kent's on that
Okay,
side of the
well,
road.
I just wanted
I
to.
was gonna say,
know
is
if you can't
that
have
in your
any-
ditch?
Yeah, it's actually on my south side.
Okay.
Not your north side.
Okay, let me see a picture.
Side of
Well,
it.
yay, another part.
So those are they busted the concrete there.
What's grade operator saying?
I haven't talked to them, I just
Okay.
figured we need to make sure we make it right.
Okay, Jonah, would you get the information to Brad?
To me, please.
Yeah.
We rebuilding now? Is that a rebuild?
No, that fence is a good fence.
But I mean,
The road.
the ditch here.
Yeah, it's being,
Cleaned the ditch out?
yeah, I'm not really sure if it's drainage or, but, it's on 190th between,
We should talk to our road superintendent.
what is it, county road line, Meridian.
I was gonna say, Steve have any knowledge on it?
Meridian, Alamo.
I'd let Steve see that. Check it. Before we,
Rather than bring it to commission level, let's handle it administratively.
Gonna give you an update, got a picture here of that house that we had tore down, it is down, and the dozers, or the track hose sitting there, finished covering the dirt up as of today. So it's happening.
I have a lot for sale.
Yeah, like somebody buy
Brought
it.
it up because this guy, he never grabs
But I
it.
just seen on the tax sale,
Send
the
me
house
the-
beside it, something for sale.
Check to see
Yeah.
too, see what I need to do.
And when they rebuilt the fence 20 years ago, you can see where the old hedge posts are.
Yeah.
And that fence is actually on the inside of the hedge post.
That just brought a point up. Thank you for saying something, Dave. We just set a $50 bid, okay? You'll see a name in that tax sale on our deal that bought a bunch of them at $50. And now they're up again. So,
They realized it wasn't such a.
I know that person won't be able to buy it because they can't, or shouldn't be able to. However, one of them that was sold 2 sales ago was paid cash right at the sale, and, anyway, long story short, the person that paid the cash couldn't buy it, so they had another person buy it for it, now they're transferring the name back now, 3 years later for it, so that's, but what I'm getting at is, you set these $50 bids, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
And they get them for 3-4 years to sit there and let people squander on.
We
I
don't
guess that's why I was one of the,
We don't collect the $500. When they buy it, we don't collect the $500.
no, $50 is all, that's all.
yeah,
That's from the person, the seller.
Yeah.
The buyer.
The new buyer is.
if we set them much higher, then they don't sell.
Then we get them.
And, well, then we've gotta redo the title work and everything else again.
Oh, it's
Put them in the land bank.
Well, that's a
Yeah, but
possibility.
that's still,
it's
Still gotta
still,
do title work.
it's pay one way or the other, or the public pays one way or the other. It's sort of a crazy deal. So I hope I don't see that again, because.
Well, you could very easily.
Yeah.
I don't know how you get away from
In
it.
that town of Peabody, I know my town pretty well, and it'll happen.
There is a comment from Bryce on the chat that says that, he says we do not maintain 190th of Meridian, that's my first thing.
It's 190th.
Yep, that's what it says.
It's 190th. It's not.
It's not Meridian.
Okay, you mentioned Meridian.
Yeah,
You said,
it's the road.
It's on
Between-
this side.
Oh,
Marion County
okay.
side. On
I wrote that in
190th.
too, okay.
On this side, on Marion County side.
Yeah.
Unless we don't maintain 190th and they come a mile into our county. I think you're talking about Meridian.
Well, find out.
So we need to go look at it.
I've not seen them go across Meridian. That's,
Well, I know we take care of certain miles of it, and they take care of certain miles of it, but 190th is clearly in Marion County.
Right.
right.
Yeah, it's not the divide road. All right, would Harvey County CDDO happen to be here?
Yep.
Yep,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into that.
still here.
All right, Kevin. Come on over here and sit by me.
Well, good afternoon to you all. Thank you for allowing us the opportunity to meet with you today. My name is Kevin Gaddard. I'm the Executive Director of the Harvey Marion County CDDO. Our office serves as the single point of entry to the intellectual and developmental disability system. Developmental disabilities are conditions that appear in the developmental period and result in functional needs for long-term services and supports. These services include case management, children's respite care, personal attendant care, and adult day and residential supports. Our office affiliates with a variety of service providers, and then we provide impartial options counseling to those individuals and guardians for provider choices. We also provide annual contact and options counseling for everyone in our system, and plus functional assessment for all persons who receive services and supports. We provide quality assurance oversight, which includes on-site visits to monitor services, a 10% sample of persons served each year. And we maintain contact with everybody on the wait list. That's the KDAD's wait list. This year we processed 3 requests for crisis exceptions funding to bypass the wait list. So by the numbers, in our service system right now, we have 341. 21% of those, or 71 of those, are Marion County residents. And then we have 258 utilized targeted case management services, 66 that receive personal care services in the family home, 145 receives day services, 113 receives residential services, and then we have 141 in our service area that are waiting for services. Total number added this fiscal year was 13 individuals. And then our support outcomes of fiscal year 2023 for direct support services, Marion County funding funded those personal care services for 1 adult. Direct financial support, 1 family in northern Marion County receives direct financial support to offset the cost of transportation, to pick up and transport to day services in Newton. 1 child and their family received respite care, early intervention services. 44 children ages birth to 3 received early intervention services through funding of Marion County. And transportation costs, a total number of 9 individuals received service-related transportation by the Harvey Marion County CDDO funding. Of this amount, 5 individuals received transportation from a service provider, 1 received transportation from a service provider and then self-directed their services, and then 4 individuals also self-directed their services and received transportation. And finally, we had 1 individual that received Medicaid and eligible TCM through funding of Marion County. Thank you for supporting Harvey Marion County CDDO through appointments to our governing board, passage of county resolutions as needed, and reliable and timely quarterly funds. We respectfully request ongoing investment in your local developmental disability service system for local access to services and local accountability for outcomes. Any increase in funds that may become available will be reinvested in the Marion County Tabor College Project Search Program. And thank you for your legacy support of your local county appointed Community Developmental Disability Organization. Our funding request is the same amount that we requested last year, and it's $70,000 for fiscal year 24. And I would be happy to answer any questions that you may have for me at this time.
Thank you for that report.
Yeah.
Questions from the commission?
Maybe I just didn't see it there. How much support are you giving for Project Search?
For this year, so for 23, so that usually, we figure that out right about now. And so that, pending Monday's board meeting, will probably be around 35,000. Yeah.
So that's a big chunk of it.
Yep. Yeah. And typically over the past several years, that's about what so we've done a few different things. We have provided program support and also do tuitions to those that aren't, because they're hybrid programs, you know. And so those that aren't funded through the co-op, we fund those. And so we've done a few of those. We've also provided some equipment to the program as well. So this year will be the FY24 will be the first year that we actually have a line item in our budget. It's lower, but it'll be that constant amount going forward, and then it'll be the same sort of process. Any fundings left over, we'll add to that amount, but we've got an actual line item in our budget for Project Search for FY24.
had one young man tell me that they're going to get to go to a new program next year, so project search, so they're happy.
It continues to be an amazing program.
Fill me in a little more on Project Search.
So Project Search is a nationwide not agency program, and each one is different. There's a Project Search in Wichita. There's one in Newton, and they all have to be tied to an employment partner. And so the Project Search here at Tabor College is obviously that piece. In Newton, it's the hospital.
Okay.
And in Wichita, I believe they do a bunch of different projects.
Okay.
But so anyway, the outcome would be competitive employment for
Great.
those individuals that make it through. And I believe they still have 100% at our local or
Yeah, I've been a mentor for, since it started, but
Good.
you have the director, you have an instructor, and then there's a group of people that are kind of like an advisory council, but also help with some of the mentoring things.
Okay.
We mostly do, well, we do it once or twice a year, and then sometimes they send emails to us, you know, how do we do an how do we interview, what things we need to be looking at in an interview, you know, things like that people are out in public can help them with.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
That day that I put them on the screen up here when they was having their meeting over at Hillsborough, the kids were giving their report of what they have done.
Oh, okay.
On that report that they give, what they had done, where they done it at, whether it be the college dorm or the cafeteria or the whatever.
they go through all the departments.
Yeah, they intern in all.
Even
of them.
athletics.
That's a
Yeah.
good experience.
Yeah.
Very good.
And then Tabor College has actually hired a few of them. There's an IT person still works there.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Okay.
Excellent. Yeah.
I think one girl's even working in the main office right now.
Oh,
Yeah.
great
Really
program.
impressive. It is.
Good.
Well, thank you for your effort and thank you for keeping us informed. Guess if these guys let me out of here Monday, I'll be there on time.
Okay, well, we appreciate Randy's presence
Okay,
on our
so-
board. Almost grabbed your bag.
If you would have explained yourself better, Randy, during that time, we wouldn't have looked at you so funny.
Oh.
He was turning the laptop
We
around.
watched,
Yeah.
we watched and
Yeah.
kind of go through that and
Yeah,
having
that's-
your meeting and.
Right. Yeah, I was broadcasting you.
Yep. Yeah.
Very true.
Thank you
No,
all.
it's- Yeah.
Any other questions?
Put you back on the list and
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Another little gap. Brad, would you have something for 5 minutes?
I don't for 5.
Take a break. All right, let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay, technology is on,
All right,
and we're recording.
great.
Yep.
Recess is over. Back in class. Do we have Prairie View?
Yeah,
Hallway?
they're sitting down.
All right.
This is-
Hi, Marcy. Come on in.
got your speaker and everything right over here. Just gotta yell at it.
Just yell at it?
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Good afternoon. Still in the morning time. All right, are you ready for me to?
We are ready.
Okay. So did you all receive the letter that we
Yes.
had sent? Okay.
These are our packet.
So I will just start by calling your attention to the bottom paragraph where we talk a little bit about statistics about mental illness. And so it's known that 1 in 5 Americans in the US will experience a mental health issue in any given year. To confound that, in 2020, studies showed that a high level of distress in rural communities increased from 17% to 28%. So when you pair the 1 in 5 with this increase in rural communities with barriers to mental health, we're really looking at a challenge of being able to meet the increased needs of mental health with barriers that are in place in rural communities. So, and as you also know, Kansas ranked 51st in the nation for prevalence of mental illness, which means we have a pretty high prevalence of mental illness in our state. And with the change into CCBHC status of care, we're hoping to see that significantly change. And then it goes on to tell you that, you know, the global economy, $1 trillion annually is spent on mental health, but the government only puts about 2% of their budget towards opportunities for funding mental health. So as I mentioned, there are barriers for rural health. And so what Prairie View has done, even though we will be becoming certified as a CCBHC July 1 of this year, what we've done is we've already started putting some services in place to provide extra supports for the folks in the communities that we serve. So for instance, we have a law enforcement liaison who kind of helps folks that are discharging from jail get back into the communities, make sure that they get medications, make sure that they're seeing their therapist and have appointments so that they can be discharged stably. We have a clinician that goes into the jails and does some kind of group therapy, individual therapy with folks that are housed in the jail at the time. And then we've also increased our access department to same-day access so people can walk in, same day crisis is occurring, there's no appointment necessary, just walk in and get seen for crisis situations and hope that we can stabilize folks. In that department, we've also added a APRN to do the medication part of it too, so now when you walk in, you don't just see a therapist, but if you're struggling with medication or you need your meds refilled, you can get that as well. And then we've increased our staffing, even though we're not certified yet, we've increased our staffing in our community supports services, such as you have your traditional case management, but we've also added supported employment and increased our supported housing. And we also have done a SOAR specialist, which those folks take people who may be eligible for Medicaid and help walk them through the process of application, completing all the paperwork, following up. So all of those are positions that we've added with no funding, and I think we've spent well over $2 million in adding these positions in this probably last 6 to 7 months. And so that's all necessary for us to be CCBHC, but there isn't any way to get recouped for those. And then some of the positions that we're adding don't have reimbursements either. We just are offering them because we see that there's a community need and it will be a benefit for people struggling with mental illness to stay stable. Our overall goal is to keep people out of the hospitals, emergency departments, and jails. And so I don't know how many of you attended or are aware of our transition for our inpatient unit. We're going to be moving away from inpatient hospital beds to a more of a behavioral urgent care unit. So that'll begin hopefully by January 1 of 24. It'll be for Harvey County year 1 while we pilot it, and then Marion McPherson County from then on out. But I am going to have law enforcement and hospital administrators be part of the planning group for it. So essentially what happens is folks that are waiting for an inpatient involuntary state hospital bed can come to this unit, be dropped off by law enforcement after being medically cleared, and we will house them until the state hospital bed opens up. The goal of that is to keep law enforcement on the streets and emergency departments open for folks that really truly need emergent kinds of care.
Have you been working and communicating with our sheriff on that issue?
We have communicated. We had a stakeholders meeting, and we invited them. They didn't show up, but when we start the meetings for planning, like kind of admissions and criteria and working through all the steps, every LEO, we have LEO advisory committee meeting, and so we'll announce this at that coming up in a couple of weeks. I think it's like maybe 2 weeks that we have it, and we'll announce it then, and then we'll be letting everybody know to be watching for the invite that is specific to the behavioral urgent care unit. Yeah. Excellent. So we want to make sure, even though we're piloting it in Harvey County year 1, we want to make sure that we have input because every county looks a little different in terms of needs and processes. So
appreciate including the sheriff in that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
How many will you be able to house?
So we'll have 2 units. We'll have an involuntary unit that's for those waiting state hospital beds, and then we'll have a voluntary unit. And we're hoping to transition some of the involuntary to voluntary, and then potentially there is the option for us to open back up an inpatient unit bed if it's necessary in 2025. I'm going to answer your question. But there's like 70 beds going into play in Wichita over the next couple of years, and then there's another, I think 48 going up into the Kansas City area, so we're not sure if there's a need for that. But for the involuntary, we'll have 7 or 8 beds depending on severity. And then in the voluntary, we'll have 14 beds. So our goal is to have some of those 7 or 8 being able to rotate into voluntary. And then if there is the need for the inpatient unit, then to be able to move them from voluntary to inpatient once the bed's just kind of like a circle, motion. The goal of the behavioral urgent care unit is to get people stabilized before they go to the state hospital and try to keep them in their community. We'll have what's called an assertive community treatment team, which basically keeps those high frequency users with tabs on them all times. It's a team of like 12 individuals. And somebody's gonna pretty much be checking with those individuals every day. So between the ACT team and this behavioral urgent unit, we're hoping that there's a drastic decrease in the amount of folks that you're seeing in emergency departments and in jails.
So you'll do that in Newton?
It'll be done in Newton, so that's one of the things that we'll have to work out with law enforcement is transportation, because they do have to be dropped off by law enforcement as an involuntary after having been cleared medically. But yeah, it'll be in Newton, on the campus. We're just gonna, right now, between now and January 1, we're renovating the facility so that it's completely ligature-free and safe for individuals, and there's no risk of suicide attempts or any of that.
So by just utilizing Harvey County for a year, is it kind of experimental then?
Yeah, we're one of the first in the state doing this, so it's a brand new concept. There's one other one that just opened up last month in Lawrence, and so we'll be the second one opening up in the state. And the state wanted us to keep it limited. The state is helping us with the cost of the renovation, so they wanted us to keep it to one county initially to iron out all the processes. There's no regulations or anything like that for it that have been published yet, so it's kind of like a pilot program. And so then that's why year 2 will open it up to all 3 counties. So last year, Prairie View performed 97 evaluations for state hospital screenings. 24 of those individuals were from Marion County. We served 594 outpatients in Marion County, providing over 12,000 services. 92% of those individuals were underinsured or uninsured, and 43% of those services were provided as charitable cases. We employ 18 staff in Marion County, and I believe we're increasing that over the next year to where our office will be full, which is the first time in a long time. So the payroll for those individuals exceeds just over $500,000 at $577,000. And so our ask this year for the county for budgeting purposes would be for $97,232,000 for the coming year. And so I will answer any questions that you guys may have, maybe I didn't touch on, or expand on anything that you might want a little bit more information.
So with a fairly sizable staff in Marion County, is that staff servicing folks outside of Marion County also?
No, Marion County staff, I mean, they can come to the Marion County office if they want to, but like our priority is you have to be a Marion County resident. And we're prioritizing uninsured and underinsured folks. So if there's a wait list, those people that don't have insurance or have Medicaid insurance are the first ones walking through the door. But we've increased our case management staff. Hillsborough used to have a really full, I would say, 8 to 10 case managers, and we were down to 2. And so now we've got an SUD counselor there, we've got clinicians there, we've got case managers there. I think we have is it a peer specialist that we have there, or supported employment? We're really trying to make sure that we have the same services in each county, not just Harvey County, but this Marion McPherson has supported employment, supported housing, regular case management, the store specialist, patient navigators, which those patient navigators, when the person shows up at the door, those individuals not only assess mental but physical as well. And so if there's physical problems, they're connecting them with, the hospital or someplace to get an evaluation for their physical needs as well.
So what's the number of Marion County residents that are getting services out of these 18?
We served, in Marion County, we served 594 people with over 12,000 services in Marion County. Those are Marion County residents.
So what percentage of the county have mental health issues?
A lot more than are going in and getting help.
Yeah, it's maybe the same people.
Well, I know that, but I mean, you're talking about services. I'm talking about how many individuals did we serve?
Said 500?
594.
Right, so that is the number of individuals that we serve.
Yeah, and that includes kids, adults, substance use, just medication. It includes all of the different services that we provide.
1/24th. 1/24th. That'll be the county.
Okay, other questions? All right. Well, thank you, Marcy.
Absolutely.
We appreciate all the information, the updates. We appreciate the work that you do.
No problem. Thank you for having time for us.
Absolutely.
Would it be helpful if I gave you a copy of this report? Would it be helpful if I just gave you a copy of the report that I just read? Okay, and I will bring one for you next year.
All right, I think Becky and Eric are in the hallway. If they're ready to come in. Hi, Becky.
Hi.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Okay, if you could come up to the microphone, we have people that are online.
Okay.
That way they're able to hear your comments.
All right.
If you want to pull another chair up, that'd be great. Becky and Eric, we appreciate you being here today. Last week we had a presentation about internet service to Lehigh, and we understand that you have some plans to provide service in that area, and wanted to give you a chance to explain to the commission what you have in the works.
Thank you. I'm Becky Regier. I'm the CEO with HCI, or Home Communications, out of Galva. We are a family-owned business who is celebrating our 90th year this summer of service to our communities. We have about 2,500 customers in rural Kansas, central Kansas. We do serve eastern McPherson County, and we come right up to the Marion County line. Yep. And we want to go further now. But we are applying for a grant with the Kansas Office of Broadband for the city of Lehigh. And it is specifically for in the town. Our owners of our company have committed personally 20% of the amount of the build, and so we're asking for a grant for the 80%. It does show that our owners of our business, the company, and the company itself is very committed to coming. We like to support the local communities. We want to be a part of the city of Lehigh. We would like to give them the same opportunities that Marion has, Hillsborough has, with a high-speed internet provider. You know, these residents should be able to work from home, have their children remote learning if they want to, have another child streaming, watching TV, and right now they can't do that. And so we would like to do that. We do offer, Eric has some brochures that will be glad. In one now. We do offer different internet packages. We do have one, our beginning tier is 100 speed, which is a higher level than actually what the grant is requiring. $60 a month. If a resident would qualify for the Affordable Connectivity Program, it would take it about halfway down. So they could have high-speed internet throughout their house, capable of connecting all their devices for about $30 a month in that route. Eric has been talking with the city and has discussed things with the mayor and some of it, and was at a city council meeting, so he's.
So yeah, I'll just say that I went to 2 council meetings there in the city. I have support and a couple letters of support from the council and the mayor. And they also, I mean, they're really excited about us coming in. So.
Our request is if the county would be willing to provide us with a letter of support that we could put with the grants, we would appreciate it. It's just a letter supporting the community, supporting our investment in that, interest in the city. Unfortunately, it's a little time sensitive. We do have the grant will be filed on Friday, so we will be doing the application on Friday, submitting that. But we'd love to have the support of the county. We do think it would help. The Kansas Office of Broadband has continually told us that the investment by the city and the counties is huge. The partnerships we can have is huge in getting the funds to the city, and we're 3 miles from them. We would love to be there. We would love to be there, and we are already actually going that 3 miles. We are getting quotes and working on to get to that 3 miles. Eric's our in-house engineer, and he's been working on that today even. But to get to the city, to make it financially feasible for our company, and to get it in there, we need the help with the grant.
Okay, Commissioner Becker, you have some
Well,
questions?
I guess you're the second one
Right.
to come to us now on this. I guess we know that your company's been over west for a long time. Do you have any plans, if you're successful in Lehigh, in coming into Marion County?
Go ahead. Yeah.
So we worked well with other rural telephone and internet providers around us. So we would probably do some surrounding area around Lehigh, but being as you already have somebody like in Hillsboro, we probably want to go much further outside of Lehigh for the time being.
Because we have no service in western and northern Marion County.
Right. So the western part, yes, we'll do some area around that after we would build the town.
They gotta get a base,
Yeah.
Yeah.
base location to shoot out from.
Yeah. And we would, outside to the rural area. We actually wanted to do that originally last year, and there was so many applications, we did not get approved with the state of Kansas when we did rural. And our feedback from them was to go smaller, that we needed, just from everything we've heard. So our plan is to ask for the grant to go in, like you said, the base, get our main line in. And if we can get that base in the city, our owners have committed to expanding into the rural areas, to where our original intent was, to be into the rural area.
Well, I'm not against a letter of support, but the other company that was in has already made a commitment to the northern part of the county. And so I'd have an issue of them getting kicked out, because then they wouldn't have it. They wouldn't have that. You see what I'm saying? They committed to the Lehigh project. They've also committed to going north. And if I got a commitment from you folks to do the same thing, I don't care which one of you get it. We just need it.
Did we hear them tell us last, when they was here, that the reason why, because there was nobody in Lehigh, there's the reason why they could get into town or something?
It's basically that they reduced the regs, or they increased what a company had to show in order to be considered served.
Okay.
And that's what needed to be done by all means, because there was people going out at 2 a.m. proving that they could hit speed wirelessly, and it was false. I mean, you couldn't keep it.
I guess the bottom line to my question is I'm open for anybody to come in and competition, because
Sure.
So that way, if I was, and like you said, we supported them here just in their presentation. And
I support any one of them. I mean, whatever it takes to get a high speed in.
yeah, and so I just didn't want to put another letter of support out if these people beat them into the town, then those other people couldn't come into town. Yeah, if I just misunderstood last week.
And that's why I reached out, is because I knew there was something in the works. And so now we've got 2 different companies applying for the same area.
Do you think it
Well, the
hurts,
reason I bring it up is because
Okay,
the other
one at a
company
time.
has already come to another city council and said they will put in the service
Yeah.
as long as the community can commit to 50% of the households subscribing.
Okay, so which company was that?
The one that we had in last week.
Okay. My understanding is another company also has letters of support from the city council. So I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm just
So
trying to
if
clarify.
Your competitors show up with a grant request and you show up with a grant request, and you both equally have our letters of support. Where's the harm in that?
There isn't, only one of us is gonna get
Okay.
it. I mean, that's what it boils down to
Okay.
with that, so.
And
And
if
that
you-
doesn't even guarantee either one of us will.
Either,
Right,
yeah.
Either
right, could be
one.
another. I think if they.
Absolutely, they will not award that to both of us on that
Right.
end, so you are
So
correct in
if
that.
if they take the time and actually see that you have a letter of support from us and that the other company has a letter of support, they'll see our commitment to high school, the way
Right.
I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem giving it another letter of support.
Okay.
I'm just trying to push you guys in to go spread that a little farther.
Need Kent's address.
He lives out that
I'm the
country
commissioner
somewhere.
from that district.
So,
I know what kind of service is up there.
so Angie,
Sad.
would you like to chip in?
If that's up to them. I
Because
think,
Commissioner Becker's talking about Durham area.
yes,
The Durham area.
yes,
So
and I've.
come up to the
okay.
microphone, please.
Here, nice work.
Well, my name's Angie Schwarzenegger, and I work with TCT, or Tri-County Telephone. We are in parts of northern Marion County already. We serve Ramona and Lost Springs, Lincolnville, those areas. I'm guessing you're talking about northwest.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we have written 2 grants now for Durham and not gotten either of them. And we had plans to write the BEAD grant. We weren't going to write the Link grant for the rural areas, not the town. We have plans already to build the town, and if there is a grant written for it, we'll be challenging it. Which means, we'll be telling the state, we already have mainline there, we already have plans to go in. So, and the state will have to consider whether they wanna
I think
spend
you need to-
taxpayers' money
Yeah.
on a grant where we're gonna serve already or not.
I think maybe there's a lack of communication between you and the city
Well, I've been
council.
in touch with them this week.
Because when I talked to the other provider, I went to several of the city council people, and they said, we've got nothing going on with TC.
Okay, well, I've talked to them this week, and we're having a community meeting, and we've been starting to build to the south already. We have mainline.
Right.
Okay, so I'm just letting you know, that's probably what will happen. When the grants come out and things like that, I'm sure we'll be committing a challenge.
Okay.
So, which is fine, that's how this thing goes. We've been challenged by other companies too in our grants, so that's just the nature of it.
And on our end, with them, home communication works very well. With
Mhm.
Tri-County, we have actually talked about partnering in different items and
Yes.
different things.
Okay.
So that is why we can't commit to going north, like we'll go rural out of Lehigh, but because we're not going to step on their toes.
And
They're
we're
our,
not either.
yeah, they're our neighbor, yeah.
So TCT is not looking at Lehigh.
No, not any longer. We had written a grant for Lehigh before, gosh, that was way before this. And then even in the last grant round, we found out each other was writing, where we were writing the grants, and we worked together. And we have a plan to help each other build those areas out.
Good.
So you're getting 2 companies here to work together that have actually built in rural, and we understand how to build in rural. I don't know about your other company, but I think they pretty much stick to where there's population, and they don't so much build out to rural. And that's something we're good at, and that's something we know, and we have connections with.
We're not picking and choosing.
No, I know that.
We just want service.
I understand.
The goal here is service.
I understand, I understand. I'm just trying to tell you, we understand how to serve them.
Yeah.
And we support the communities.
Yes.
We're involved with the towns and the
Yes.
schools and
Yeah. Mhm.
the community events.
Right.
We want to be there.
Well, I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that the
Yeah.
information the questions got answered.
Mhm.
Any questions that are there.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure. But, yeah, I've cleared up my communications problems with the city, trust me.
You know how small town city councils work?
It's real well.
Yeah.
And we were surprised, pleased, when Eric had met with the mayor. He actually went door to door for us, and we have every house he visited. He visited 32 houses, and we have signatures and addresses of 32 houses for signatures that we want this service. So, We hope that's strong going in with our grant.
I hope so too.
I'll make a motion to draft a letter of support for HCI.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We have a motion from Commissioner Garing, second from Commissioner Crowfoot. Other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. We will try to have that by Friday.
Thank you.
Is there somebody I need to be in touch with to get that, or?
If you would contact our county
Do you have
clerk.
a card or something, is there an email address that?
I'll get you.
Or a person or a company name and address of where that, like, where that I can put on the letter.
Sure.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you, Becky.
I'm just glad to see there's fireworks ready to fire off here.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we got 3 companies.
Yeah, isn't that, how often does that happen?
Yeah.
Somebody don't know about it?
Who'd
Yeah.
ever thought?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got things rolling.
I'll give you a call.
How's your up and down? How often do you go down?
We have our company, like the service down,
Mm-hmm.
we have a 99% rate of up.
Because your competition is down a lot.
Yeah.
I'm on it here in town.
Yeah, we have a 99 point, I think it's 0.6 or 0.7
Okay.
level of maintenance. We just don't see, we're underground. All of our facilities are buried. We're in town, we're buried, so we have no mercy of the lever.
They're on copper wire.
We are fiber.
I know, but.
Yeah.
Fiber to the house.
Fiber to the house, buried.
Fiber into the house now.
Into the house, actually, it doesn't, yeah, our equipment's inside your house, and so, yeah, it's 99.6, 9.7 uptime is our current, and it hasn't
Pretty
varied.
well on track with what DCT.
Might as well go to the country then.
Mr. Becker, we'll work with Angie to get you taken care of.
Please.
Just tell them to put a point to point in the
Oh, yeah.
elevator in Lehigh and shoot it right over to your house over there.
That'd work.
I think you'd rather have fiber than
But
right?
you'd rather have fiber.
We rent a home office out of our house in northwest Marion County with 3 hotspots. 3.
Yeah. We'll get your address and we'll figure something out.
Thank you all.
Build out to Durham and follow the pavement out.
I'll put a roadblock.
My point there was just to clear the air, so that everybody had all their
Yeah.
questions
So
answered.
it's good to see there's more than one company and also they're working together too.
Right.
Well,
Which is-
a lot of it's communication.
Right. So now that we were on that topic,
Which you
bring
find
up,
better.
we had last week voted to write the letter of support for the other company. We're still on board to sign the letter, right? Okay, then we're ready to finish that last item up from. Oh, Tina changed. It's Ashley.
Where's the letter?
Oh.
While they stand here.
That's right, right.
All the letters are already. Yeah.
Well,
All I gotta do is.
the other one might be in the blue folder. See if there's one in the blue.
Yes.
folder.
We weren't sure.
It's a letter for Revive.
Are you named on the list, too?
No, if you don't open
I was
it.
sitting here in the on.
I didn't know that you were.
Yes.
Yes, this is it. That's exactly it.
I like being on the bottom line. I don't have to feel bad about messing up Kent's area.
All right, Carl, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice seeing everybody. It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Well, I just, it's hard to believe it since that time, from the first time I talked to everybody in here, that we're at that point now to where I think you're gonna let me go. So, but that was the game plan a long time ago. And so that's where we're at, and I feel very confident. I hope you guys do. I feel confident in Nikki, where she's at now, Brian, and everybody else, actually. I think you guys have a good appraiser's office downstairs. So that makes me happy.
You had to go and get full staff. If there was an open staff position, I could have justified a part-timer's salary to keep you around. You know, can't do that now that you filled up all the seats.
I know.
Yeah. So Nikki and I talked. I mean, we're gonna if she needs me or if she wants to talk to him, she's just gonna call me, and we'll work things out. I'll see her at all the classes and stuff
That why
like
the
that.
contractual line got bigger?
Yeah. Is it? I don't know. So no. So I mostly just want to have Nikki put me on the agenda just to tell you guys things. I mean, you guys didn't have to go that route 3 years ago, but you did give me confidence. You supported me, and I think you supported me the whole time I was here. So I couldn't ask for anything else, to be honest with you. So I just wanted in person to tell you thanks.
Appreciate your service.
Thank you to you.
I think you stood out and did what you said you would do and everything we asked. That's very appreciated and helps somebody when somebody comes and says they appreciate the help that they've gotten from you. So we've heard both sides. We've heard all good stuff, and you've done what you said you'd do. And I guess we just need to buy you a fishing pole so you can go fishing now.
There you go. There you go.
He still has 3 counties.
Somehow I think you've got enough responsibility.
No, the fishing pole is to lure him back.
Oh,
we got two lakes.
There was a plan. There was. Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah. No, thank
So,
you. Thank you.
I won't take much more of your time. I just want to tell you thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you, Carl.
And tell Tina that.
So much.
All right.
No, I don't
Yep.
think so.
Have a good time. Don't forget to stop in and say hi sometime.
I will do that.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Been a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. All righty.
We're out of here.
All right, Bryce, we can start 15 minutes early. I think you probably already heard there's 15 minutes worth of questions that came up already in the meeting. So
I've heard a few, yep.
you want to start with those first?
It's up to you. I was gonna give you an update. Guys are still blade patching on 340th, made through Lost Springs that way. Probably got at least the rest of the week, at least getting over to Quail Creek. A lot of patching to do up there, so. Yeah, and Kansas, I put pictures on Facebook of the paving training and stuff done last week. Their plan is to, I believe tomorrow, either pave the south end plus some of the widenings there at Ag Service, and then possibly Wednesday going to start paving on the north section, or from the bridge north. Don't know for sure. But regardless of what, or weather or whatever else, by the end of next week, they should be paved out from 190th south. Don't want to jinx them or anything else, but they're getting with it. Don Langer has finished or should finish today or tomorrow, removing the pavement from 190th north up to the co-op hoop shed. So that would be available for them too. The biggest problem taking time is just getting the concrete trucks down to the mixer, and that 1,500 yard pour they did last week, they started at 5:30 and didn't get done until about 5:30. So there's a full 12 hours.
That's
So-
half the road.
No, that's full width.
Full width.
I don't remember for sure how far it was, but anyway, from that bridge north of Ag Service down to the south end.
Kind of tax the system then.
Well,
Mix and blend, huh?
yeah, the ready mix did pretty good, guys did pretty good. It just takes a long time when you're bringing out that kind of concrete, so.
So all the rebars set, formed, ready to drop in, or, I mean, how are they sitting there?
The rebars
Sections?
are actually nailed into place.
Already.
I brought that basket up here with the last year, whatever else, that's what they're using. As they pull the trucks out, they drop those, they put in bars to hold them down.
And then they pin it every so often.
Yeah, they put 3 to 4 pins down on it, so they don't go anywhere. And then, the centerline bars are already staked in as well. So,
Cool.
I'll try to take a picture of that next time.
I see it from the intersection, but I don't see much,
Yeah.
so, you
Yeah.
know, I try not to go down
It's-
there.
Yeah, it's kinda of a slow process when you're sitting there watching, but when you're putting down that much concrete, trying to vibrate it and.
Watch them do some city streets, so I know
Yeah,
it's,
yeah. So,
but
but
as long
anyway.
as they do it right, it lasts.
Yeah, we're very confident in that, so. I heard you talking about the damage on 190th. I talked with Cheyenne. Yes, he said he did hit whatever, a post, whatever else. Made sure to tell him, said, hey, next time take a picture, let us know. So, whatever we
Well,
need to do.
there's like this much dirt holding the T-post left.
Okay, well, like I said, he said that he did that.
Whatever we need to do to fix it.
And that was what I told him. I said, we'd rather take it before it gets to the commission. Things like that happen. That's not a problem. So, anyway, that's all I had, but you guys had other questions then, or?
I thought there was. Back on the fence, yeah. The county cleaned the road ditch out on that for the new fence, right?
On
70th.
70th, yes.
70th.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Commissioner Dalkey was asking.
Yes.
Yeah, I just went out and toured it, viewed it, looked at it, and seen a lot of progress, but I didn't know who had done it.
Yeah, we did that.
Okay.
We did that the next week after,
Okay.
right after that happened, so.
But did it go out into the property itself?
Somebody pushed this stuff over in a burn pile and burned it.
I don't think that would have been us.
Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify is what was county, what was
No,
not.
most of the time when we do that, we will pull the dirt back up on the road because we raise the road and crown it.
Sure.
More than what it was before, so we always need dirt coming up.
Okay.
Every now and then when we have extra dirt that we can't do it with, the only way we put it up there is with the landowner's permission. And a lot of times they'll say, hey, I'd like to fill in gullies or whatever with it, so we do that.
So I guess that's what I wanted to know is if the landowner did that, then they've made the commitment to clean it out there.
Yeah, we won't do anything on private land without
Okay.
asking with permission or whatever,
Okay.
so. But yeah, we just did that right away, so that's kind of wild.
It might have been where you drug all of those shrubs and bushes. And
Well, now, whether we did that, I know the fence builder was talking about doing that too.
Okay.
He was just going down there, he said, I have a back drag or whatever he had, just take them out there, because there were just little shrubs.
Okay, yeah, and they
Your survey site to keep your line straight.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't need all those trees in the way.
Yeah. But no, that's, like I said, we don't go out of the way to do that without permission, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good job. I mean, it's, if he, landowner just moved his fence back where he wanted it, I think I'd be happy, but.
Well,
but
again,
that's up to him.
That's why you're requiring the survey.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Bryce?
I'd like to have an executive session with 10 minutes with just the commission, please.
Okay, very good.
I must object.
Okay.
Your call for it does not meet legal requirements.
Is it personnel performance?
Yes.
You know, you need more than that. You need some kind of idea what exactly will be discussed.
Then what's the point of executive session?
Personal performance can't be talked about, even a name, we can't
Does
say.
it involve particular employees and what sort
How
of
about
issue?
Road and Bridge Department, personnel performance? It's personnel and Road and Bridge Department, right? All right, I move we recess an executive session in order to discuss personnel performance or Road and Bridge personnel pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 1, personnel matters, non-elected personnel performance with the commission and Bryce for 10 minutes from 2:22 to 2:32.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay, motion carried 5-0, back at 2:32. It'll be 10-minute executive.
Yeah, just want to make sure she's.
Oh,
I second. Was that the question?
That's all.
I can do it real quick, so you don't have to look at it.
What'd you do? He's on, they're on a
This conference is no longer being recorded.
That's
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, out of executive session, no decisions made. Krista?
Round two.
Well, let's hope healing is going well.
Yeah.
Healing for
We have a cast, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we understand emergencies.
Thank you for being understanding. Did Tina get in your packet the?
Let's see, we need to pull up last week's package.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if we
I
can.
was gonna say no.
I do have copies.
If you do, that would be
That'd be easier
fantastic.
than flip flopping.
Yeah, since I got 150
I know.
emails this week.
Finding it would take us a while.
I go through and delete the nonsense ones very often.
Yeah, but still, even you find a budget packet, then you gotta find health department. Thank you.
This is gonna get good press.
Phyllis, does that mean good press?
Yeah. Yes. You're the only one that brought her a sheet today.
She's smart. All right, Kristen, let's get started.
Where would you all like to start?
Okay, well, let's just start the. Why don't we start through expenses? Okay, wages, of course, are up, and that's the line you take from clerk's office. Contractual is up. What specific reasoning for contractual?
So some of our contractual expenses were taken out of grants in previous years. You're going to definitely see a marked difference in the years to come, just because we still have COVID grant money. We don't have the same amount of COVID grant money that we previously had. Come December of this year, we will, and I'm sure we'll become approved for it, the workforce development grant. So that won't make up for all the COVID grants, but it will kind of fill in there, and that came down from the CDC because of 46% of 46 or 47% of the public health workforce all left in the last couple of years. And so that's why they've come up with the workforce development grant. And it's for employee retention, employee bonuses, education, training. And so I don't think it's not a competitive grant. I'm sure we'll, when we apply, we'll be approved for it. And two, if you do the totals, which I did do one sheet where I did the totals. I know that's not the format that they wanted from the accountant, but we do have this year more money in proposed revenue dollars from the grants.
Okay.
So that totals $347,835.98, which kind of offsets it.
How much of that is passed through?
Has passed through.
Yeah, to another county, do we still do that?
No, the only thing that we spend that goes out of county is we have a contracted dietitian, and that's with Konza Prairie out of Junction City.
Okay.
And that's through the WIC, and that's all paid for from WIC, which is a federal grant.
What was the revenue line again? The total?
The total I got when adding those lines was $347,835.98.
But then when you go down to the bottom, it says grants, 120,000.
I think that's however they had the line set up. I don't think it's, oh, grants, cause that's expenses. So when we go to figure the health, expense, some of the grants, like salaries are paid partially out of some of the grants. And so that's what I take out expense if it's something that
now I understand.
specifically purchased.
The bottom ones are all expenses.
Yeah. We do still have, and it's until June of 30th of 2024, our expanding infrastructure grant. And that was the grant that I'd like to use to purchase a new exam table if we get an extra exam room, waiting room furniture, windows, paint, flooring can all be purchased out of that grant specifically. But we have a timeline and the clock is ticking down. We learned last year through our flu vaccines that we didn't have enough manpower when we did our outreach clinics. We could have used an extra nurse there. We'd like to this year have someone that's just to come to outreach clinics where we need an extra set of hands to do immunizations.
So can that just be a part-time person you bring in?
Yeah, and even just a seasonal person
Seasonal.
to do flu vaccines, or if we get a seasonal COVID vaccine, which is what I've heard from all the vaccine reps, that it's a very busy season where we just kind of run the whole day and into the evening every night.
There's enough PRNs around here. You can probably
Yeah.
pull somebody pretty easy. They're not committed to anywhere, so.
Yeah. So Medicare Part D now is covering the shingles vaccine. So our vaccines were kind of hard to decipher what our revenue from daily receipts would be. But with shingles being covered through Medicare, we're probably going to see an uptick in shingles vaccine, but less COVID vaccines likely. And the workforce development grant, which the applications come open July 1st and they close August 15th. So Marion County is slated, or Marion County Health Department is slated to receive $76,500.92. They've already determined what the amount will be. And that's over a 4-year period of time.
Okay.
Is that per year or total?
And that's total. That's total. Questions? I don't know that I have. Also, the CDRR grant is new that we had voted on previously. CDRR is chronic disease risk reduction, where there's focuses on tobacco cessation or decreasing tobacco use, and specifically there's a focus on younger people, so teenagers, but also for older adults. Where we kind of partner with the Can Quit program, which is through KDHE. Also, there's a physical and nutrition aspect of that grant that we can focus on, and some counties have used that money to do long-term projects like a safer walk to school programs in communities.
Questions?
Your revenue lines are actually up from last year.
For this year, yep.
Or for this budgeted year.
Yep.
You have a percentage increase
7.
for the for 2024 over prior year?
I can give it to you real quick.
You're up $75,642.
Income or expense?
Income.
So up 75,000 in income.
Yeah.
About the same on expense.
Expense. Oh, yeah.
About 75.
Just trying to see. Remember when the teachers all said we wouldn't have the calculators with us?
I know, they lied, didn't they?
They lied.
Can't live without the calculator. I can cheat, I can look at his paper. It's just about a wash.
Actually, coming out a little better on the income side. Not by much, but $800.
And I would caution you all, just because of the COVID-19 grants, that this is this year,
Yeah.
but next year is going to look likely dramatically different.
Really not much change in the budget at all.
It was
Okay.
a 15% increase.
So, 23 to 24 on the revenue side, we're at 75,642. And then from the expenditure side, we're up 74,877. So, those are your difference. Revenue went up and expenditure went up by roughly about the same amount.
He doesn't believe you.
It's okay. The numbers don't lie. That's why I like budget.
It's pretty concrete, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you're gonna add more services next year?
Not this coming year, because of our grant application periods are March, and until we have more space, we really don't have room to provide more services at this point. We've had problems even recently with people coming in, if it's a WIC day, WIC appointments are generally pretty long, ties up the room, and if somebody drops in and wants an immunization, we have to kind of get creative with our spaces, but still keep everything confidential and private.
Hope this shirt didn't have the answer in it. I just left it sit over there the whole time.
This was what I was waiting for, the whole meeting.
Question?
It's your summary.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice it got passed over this way.
That's what you were talking about. Now I understand. No, you've explained it. Very good. Other questions for Krista? If not, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, appreciate the work and services provided. That brings us to the most anticipated part of the meeting. Go ahead.
Okay.
Wow.
I know, do you have something scheduled?
Andrew Holder should be available via remote access. I told him between 2:30 and 3, so I'm assuming
Oh,
he will be
okay.
available.
Okay.
That would be an executive session on pending litigation.
Is he on there?
It would be on a separate, it can't be in this one, it has to be on the line.
If we want to do that last, I can go through the other things. that are
Let's
just
do it
updates.
first, since you said between 2:30 and 3. That'd be all right. How long did you say?
Sharon said she could also be on remotely. 15 minutes.
Okay. Yep. All right. I move that we recess an executive session in order to discuss pending litigation. Is that sufficient?
Attorney-client privilege
Okay.
is our exception, and the purpose is pending litigation.
Pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney-client privilege with the commission, Brad, Ashley or Tina, and Andrew Holter by remote.
As well as Sharon Olmsted.
And Sharon Olmsted, thank you. For 15 minutes from 2:50 to 3:05.
You ready to get them all on the phone first before the clock starts?
Be best.
Why don't I add another 5 minutes? Let's make it 20 minutes from 2:50 to 3:10.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gary. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0, back at 3:10. That gives us a little time to get the electronics done.
In a polite way, he had complete discretion to tell me, no, I don't want to show up.
You got a sign, you were issued a
This
summons?
conference will now be recorded.
Voluntary.
He is a judge, just not here.
Okay. All right. Okay, we're out of executive session, no action taken. So you have something with Kurt?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
It's the second pending litigation.
very good. How long would you like?
10 minutes, I think, on this should be ample.
Okay, we don't need anyone online, so we can.
No.
Okay. Put the sheet away. I move that we recess the executive session in order to discuss pending litigation pursuant to KSA 75-314319B. Item 2, consultation with our attorney, attorney-client privilege with the commission, Kurt, Brad, Tina, or Ashley, for 10 minutes from 3:12 to 3:22.
Second.
Second, Commissioner Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carried 5-0, back at 3:22.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive session, no decisions made. What do you have next for us?
Let's see, we took care of that in executive session. We've discussed the update on Meyer, unless somebody else has other questions about that right now. Sounds like we're making good progress there. The fence was dealt with earlier. On the bridge, I've kind of put it in their lap.
Okay.
On that calculation after we had our discussion, and I raised some of the same issues that the board had raised about, well, it's a permanent loss of the structure. Let's figure out what a new one would cost and start from that as our premise. So far, no argument about that. I think the argument will come when we get down to, well, we want this, and they don't want to pay that. But so that's ongoing. And then the final one, had a good conversation with Isaac this morning, and it's related to some extent with that. I called 8 different entities in the state. Nobody does it quite like we do, which I guess should tell us something.
Imagine that.
One of the things that a lot of them seem to do is the entire lake front, if you will, the waterfront, all the way around is basically conceptually maintained by the governmental entity. And then leases are done. And those leases are not permanent. I mean, they are something that several of them have a lease arrangement where we're going to give right of first refusal always to the property owner, but that if you let it go, it could be leased by another because there is an easement along the waterfront. Another one does that, but doesn't have that ability. It's either that property owner or nobody has one on their property to the waterfront, but the entity, the governmental entity like us, reserves the right to go ahead and place them. There were like a maximum number, 12 different public docks that could be maintained, and they haven't hit that yet in that particular instance. So there are a number of ways for us to go about that. The one thing that Isaac still needed to do, and quite frankly I do too, is in looking at the public record from when the reservoir was built. The federal government also provided some assistance for the quality of life, the entertainment, the access kinds of things. So I need to check with them to see if we're bound, as long as that thing exists, to anything that they might have in their original agreement. And then he was checking with the state, because that's where most of this dock system was regulated, created. They provided the grant monies. So that's where we stand on that part of it, with the intent being for he and I to try to get together and come up with some recommendations for you, so we're not just all chasing our tails over a portion of that. In the interim, like with the holidays, I think that's a great idea. We put something up or deal with it in some kind of signage given our current circumstance, because I don't think we're going to get something done before.
Well, I just think, it gives the dock owner, if somebody's out there having a party, at least to be able to get law enforcement to check on it.
And I did call on several of our, like ours and several others, in terms of the insurability of that, the way we've done it right now, it does fall to the landowner. For the question, for example, okay, well, one of the other examples, in use, what does that mean? They're right. What does that mean? I've got my pontoon boat tied up to it. It's in use. You're not out there. Yeah, but it's in use. It's my dock. I'm using it. I've got my unit.
See, they're storing something.
Yeah.
You're not using it.
And the argument from several of them is not in a terribly gross way, but they're saying, hey, that is in use. What happens if I let them on there and my boat gets cut loose and it's out in the middle of the water and somebody, a skier or somebody hits it? Now all of a sudden I got liability, but yet it wasn't I had it safely moored and somebody else did something. I'm supposed to be responsible for all that? Well, yeah, that's the way it kind of is right now. So there's some angst about that, and rightfully so. We don't cover much of any, in an instance like that, our carrier would potentially cover us for the legal costs of defense if somebody brought us in, but not for damages probably. Because they don't see it as our responsibility, and I don't disagree with that either right now, the way it's written. So there's a lot of subtlety to this and some unintended consequences that we have in place right now that we need to either define. This is what use means, for example, and also whether we want to privatize or not. That is not an unheard of approach either. What the county does in those cases is reserves up to so and so many locations, and we do a public dock, and we set up all the standards for that, and everything is posted, and our carrier gets involved with that because we own and maintain those. Enforcement becomes an issue. I had to talk with him about that, and need a little more input from Isaac on several of those things. He and I also discussed some of these other issues that we have out there in terms of leases and rentals and on all of that, and went through some of that with him, and he and I are just going to have to take a half day, and this is his busy time of year, and go through all that. I've got some rough drafts of different types of upgraded agreements, but they'll all come to you as well.
In the short term, can we at least move on the vehicles that are out?
Yes.
Get that.
He and I talked about that this morning, and I told him too, that we just need to do right now.
Yeah.
And he didn't disagree.
Okay.
At least if there was some kind of signage for the dock owners.
Yeah.
They would have an opportunity to put up a sign. If they didn't, that's on them.
Yeah, at least opportunity.
They can put their name on it too. Be like, that's me. I'm here to use my dock.
And they can go ahead and put it privately owned, publicly accessible. I've got some pictures of some of these from
Isaac's looking at different signs,
and I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah.
But anyway, we progressed to that degree, and after that came up last week, started making a bunch of calls to these different facilities, and they're like, no, we don't do it like that. And everybody has kind of a unique approach to it. Some of them have gone to completely privatized, with the exception of a few that you got to have some public access, or a lot of the grant money that we receive we're going to have a problem with. But the rest of it, they're just saying, goes with the land, we'll let it run. I'm like, I don't know if we want to do that.
If we don't have people own land down to the lake.
Yeah,
That's it.
They can't own it.
We would have to be doing some changing in how title vests, and I don't want to get into that at all.
You don't want to sell lots
No.
on the inner circle?
I don't even want to, I'm okay with like the hunting lease approach to it, which is what this is with the docks.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't, of the ones I've heard of and seen so far, it's what I told him too, that one is of greatest interest to me. Because we have the ability to control, they have it for limited periods of time, they do have the ability to hold it for, kind of like with the land, as a right of first refusal, and then it can be sold to someone else. But then we get into the issue of easement to get there. You have to walk all the way around the lake to get to it, or can you cut across someone's land? We don't preserve, I checked, easements across private property there to get to those because they're held by the individual owners, so it was never done that way. So, a lot of different pieces that would have to come together for us to make that work.
You're just talking about the ones that are in the coves.
Yes.
On the other side of Lakeshore Drive.
Right.
Those shouldn't count, because they're outside the circle.
Where?
You know, that's probably true. I thought about that.
In those
They
coves?
are outside there.
I mean, they're not getting that grand, big waterfront area, they're getting that little cove, which is usually pretty shady, and, I mean.
Oh, now I know what you mean.
You're talking about on the other side of the road?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they can do whatever they want to over there.
Especially
So
when
now you
it's-
got another kink.
Yeah, well, it is, but it
Because
isn't in some
they own
ways.
to the
In
middle.
some ways, that ties right to the house.
They own to the middle of the water there.
Yeah, yeah.
They gotta share with the neighbor.
Wherever the water is.
So those are
as low as
not
it gets.
public access.
No.
They shouldn't be.
Those are all private.
The answer to the question about, okay, we get a bunch of people on one of mine, and then get out there in time to kick them off, or deal with them, then they damage the dock's property owner.
Yeah.
We don't have any ability to insure for that at all right now. And I'm sure that doesn't make them happy to hear, but.
So you get some
You
benefit
might,
for
you
living
might
back
check
there in
on
the
that,
coves.
Dave. I don't know. There's designated spots there.
Gordon Pendergrass told me it was. He said
Well-
he owns to the middle of,
Yeah, but what I'm saying, that guy beside Gordon Pendergrass that built the house Miller.
he owns some little land.
Well,
out
he
there.
built 2 docks on there, you know, so that was another guy that did on his house, so he put 2 of them.
Yeah, the more you look at it, the more
Spending that much money, you can do
complex
that.
it gets.
Some of them docks, it's just a culvert. I mean, you can't use it for a boat.
Yeah, you can't get over.
I mean, you can spin a little circle out there.
I suppose, yeah.
All right, we're gonna have that
Just
on the
been a
agenda
culture
next week.
change over the years. When
If
they
we
put
will at
those
least talk
out
about
there,
signs.
everybody knew everybody would use them.
Yeah.
That's one six.
One of our friends,
Anything on the crypto?
one of our friends anymore.
Any crypto?
Crypto mining,
Yeah.
Yeah.
generating trailers.
Yes.
So next week?
Yeah, put it on for next week for action. I
Okay.
forgot to bring that with me.
The other one is the alcohol sales hours. I know we took action to have a resolution drafted, but I don't know, I've been getting calls, people that would like to voice their opinion on it. And I know Commissioner Becker would like to have that.
And I got from the 2 liquor stores in Marion County, both the owners called me, would like to keep it at noon.
It seems like the right thing to do, to at least put it on the agenda.
Because it said on Sunday, they're busy from 12 to 1, and then they could go home.
That could be 9 to 10 and then go home.
So
Well,
this is funny, because
Sure.
you open it up,
Yeah.
and they're like, no, put that
I
in
know,
goes home.
I know, but let the public have a chance to speak.
Yeah, no, I mean, if,
But also the ones that are within the city,
They're
the
under
city
city
would
rule.
have the
Right,
jurisdiction
so the
over
city,
what the hours.
Yes.
and that should be part of the public discussion, is the city would
So we don't
actually
have
control the
jurisdiction.
hours in the city.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
easy enough.
yeah, the only one I think we got is
Just
Big
fish,
Shop.
yeah.
That's really the only one that applies.
So do we want to hear from everyone first before a resolution is prepared? On the crypto, we need the
We
resolution
need
so
the
we take
resolution.
action on
Would
it.
you still
You've already approved the Sundays
No, we haven't.
for the.
No, we haven't.
Not yet.
We asked for a resolution to be drafted. We did not take the action to approve it. So, do you still want to go ahead with putting it on the agenda?
As an action item or just as a discussion?
I'm good with just the action item that we originally decided.
Okay.
But I don't think
I'd say-
everybody's in favor of that.
It's up to the commission, but.
Okay, well, I'm polling the rest of the commission to see if you would like to get public input on the change before we make the action.
I think it'd be wise.
Yeah, I don't have no problem listening to public.
Okay, all right, let's put it on the agenda as an action item.
Okay. Okay.
All right? Has that completed your 6?
Mhm.
We need to expand that to 8.
Okay. Some days I never know. Depends on how much.
Well,
discussion
it's
there is.
it's just like the way the meeting started today. It's kind of, oh gosh, Brad, that is already 5 things to list. All right, any last commission comments?
Oh, in the elections, the primary election, I just saw that the state is going to pay $4.7 million for those primary elections.
I think Tina's already turned all that in, so.
I just knew she had increased her budget. That was one of those things that I thought was gonna be an unfunded mandate.
Well, they say that they're gonna
pay for this year. Future ones?
But we still need to show the expenditure, because I don't know when the reimbursement will be.
Okay, other comments? If not, I know Commissioner Dockey has a meeting to get to. Right?
Next week.
Oh, it's next week. Well, then we can stay for another half hour.
I was gonna have somebody come in, but their schedule's just booked. But as far as budget goes, I have a scholarship. It's just for Marion County kids. Basically, if you graduate from here, you're eligible to apply for the scholarship. And everybody else keeps coming in asking for money, so figured I'd do the same. But I was actually gonna have somebody from Central Kansas Community Foundation do it, but we can't just seem to get time to get it done. And just wondered if the county would meet or match what we put in, and that's $500. Just so I can make a bigger scholarship, make it go further, make it 1,000 because it's all going to a Marion County kid that's got intentions of coming home.
Trade school?
Trade school. Heard everybody else's budget requests, I put it on.
And I get Kansas Water Works. That's right name for they own the water at the reservoir.
Oh, that's a whole, you're calling it Kansas Water Authority.
I would like to bring somebody in to talk to us about that. Lisa Suderman.
It's the water supply for Marion, Hillsborough.
Eastern Kansas is trying to buy the water out of the reservoir to support industry.
Okay.
Anybody's heard about it?
How much say would we have in it since it's a federal reservoir?
Well, the sale of the water is open.
The state owns the
municipalities
water now.
to purchase.
Yeah.
So if another entity buys the water out, then Marion County municipalities don't have a shot at it.
Yeah, we got, Colorado's been doing it, and Nebraska's been suffering on that Flat River. So, it's a real thing.
Yeah, between Marion, Hillsborough, and Peabody.
Right.
We own about 50% of it. And the other 50% is up for grabs.
It would probably be good to have an educational presentation.
Yeah. I think that's a great.
I guess I'd ask for you to schedule a time. Maybe it could be at one of the budget meetings.
Some of these water deals have been suits going on for decades.
Oh, yeah. Colorado and Kansas.
Republican River, the Arkansas River coming into Colorado. I mean, crazy how.
In the Colorado River, that's continuing to be litigated.
Would the 26th be good?
Like they say, in the end, it's about the water.
26th of June?
Sure, that would work. If that works for everybody. Okay.
Because she's on the State Water Resource Board.
Right, yeah, it comes under Water Authority.
Water Authority.
Very good,
Oh.
anything else?
Yes. Lake Hall is confirmed for the tax sale.
Oh.
And then I got the other letter of support.
Oh, how do you do all that?
Shakes off, throws Ashley, see real fast.
Is that when I looked over it?
Seeing it changes, yeah.
All right, we're signing in the standing open session.
Tax bill age convert. Yeah. What was the other? HCI.
Oh, yeah, we don't need to sign the other one, they're just information. Tax sale location.
Right.
Thank you, Tina.
You're welcome.
I want to recognize Tina having a long day and rushing back, the presentation to Girls State. That's
Yes.
absolutely awesome. Awesome program and an honor for Marion County clerk to be the presenter at that. So great opportunity for the kids.
Did you drive up this morning or go last night?
This morning.
That's wild, man.
That's why she's got that grin on her face.
Joni, you never.
I haven't really had my coffee quota today either.
I just did it.
Well, they closed all the restaurants on the turnpike now.
They changed the McDonald's to a Subway.
Huh? And Taco John or something like that?
Yeah, Subway and Taco John's.
So she
I
got
was
all
like,
energized at girl state, then comes back to commission.
It's all right. I have to confess that usually when I go by there, I'll stop and get French fries on the way. I'm not doing that now.
Oh.
It's probably for the best.
Last time we come back from Topeka, she didn't tell me she wanted French fries at that time. She must have a new
It must
habit.
just be right. In light of all that exciting information, I move we adjourn the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dalton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0. We are adjourned.
Let's check stuff out, all the restaurants on the turnpike.
Oh.
And where they got